Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to do a little bit different to my normal just pickups video. I'm going to do a collection video of sorts, I suppose it is. So you've probably seen by the thumbnail by now, I would imagine. But yeah, I was on a bit of a comedy kick for a while there, and I was really getting into me comedies and enjoying rewatching some of the classic comedies, finding new ones, and it got me thinking. What comedies always make me laugh like properly out loud every time I watch them without fail. So I'd look through my collection, and I've managed to narrow it down to 20. I think 20 titles. So yeah, thought I'd just share those with you. So a lot of these are going to be very big, kind of like mainstream comedies that everyone's probably seen and heard of. So I won't spend a lot of time talking about the film itself. But there'll be a couple in there maybe that I think aren't quite as well known or might need explaining as to why they're kind of comedy to me. But yeah, let's get going. Okay, so the first one I've pulled out here is a classic one, which again, like I just said, I'm not going to go through it entirely, but the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Every time, it gets me every time, this thing. They're like bags of sand. Classic lines. These films just have so many good quotable moments. I think one of the things I remember from watching some sort of documentary or behind the scenes kind of clip on this was obviously the famous chest waxing scene. If I remember rightly, I think the girl who did it had basically bluffed her way into doing it somehow. Like I think she told them that she was qualified as waxing, but she hadn't got a clue. She just literally tore him apart, and he didn't even know. Yeah, so funny, so funny. I'm sure you guys would have seen this one, but that's my first one. 40-Year-Old Virgin, first one in the list. The next one, another classic, which is hit me at the right time in my life, the right moment to be kind of very very relatable to, and that was the 90s movie American Pie. Yeah, I don't know if many people, maybe some of the younger people out there wouldn't have seen this one now, being quite an old movie, I suppose. But when this came out, I remember everyone was talking about it, and yeah, so many scenes. Band camp, so many great lines from this one. Stifler's mum, the pie scene, Nadia. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Gets me every time. Interestingly, number two of that series, not doesn't make me laugh so much. Like it's probably my least favorite of the series. I mean, they've gone on to do obviously loads of spin-off ones as well, and but the main three trilogy, yeah, didn't care too much for the second one. However, number three, American Pie: The Wedding, not as good as the first, obviously, and not quite as funny as the first. But I think what gets me every time on this one is when Stifler is trying to help out at the wedding, and he's literally, I think it's like he's picked up this dog poo basically, and to prevent a guest, eating it, thinking it's a truffle, he takes one for the team. Yeah, I can't. I would just crack up every time. I just can't. His face is amazing. It's all in his teeth. There's loads of other stuff in this one as well, but that is the scene that always gets me in this film, like every single time. So yeah, American Pie 3, The Wedding. So next movie in the list is a sequel in a trilogy again, which is I saw this one at the cinema. I think I'm just about old enough to get in, maybe just a bit young to get in, I don't know. But yeah, second one in the series of the Austin Powers movies. So Austin Powers and the Spy Who Shagged Me. I remember watching this, and I think I went and saw this at the cinema with me, mum and dad, and my sister, on holiday sometime, and it wasn't, not exactly a family film. It's a 12 certificate, but when you're sort of a young teenager yourself, maybe not the best film to be watching with your parents. So many innuendos or just outright, like, outrageous kind of like moments in this film, but the whole thing start to finish is brilliant. Mini Me, obviously, Dr. Evil, Scott, fantastic film. I'm sure everyone knows about this one, so I won't whine on about it too much, but yeah, another one of my favorites that always makes me laugh out loud every time I watch it. Lemon sherbet, that's the other scene that always gets me. And the next one is, I'm sure everyone must have seen this one by now, but Sacha Baron Cohen in Borat. So yeah, a classic comedy. Everything about this is right up my street for when it comes to comedy. You know, proper just gross out scenes, complete. Oh, fantastic! Just the scene where he's just like essentially peeing in the river, and the fella is just about 2 meters downstream from him, washing his face in it. It cracks me up every time. The dinner table scene, I swear the dinner table scenes in the movies, I've watched all the series as well with him in, but I'm pretty sure when he goes to the dinner table scene and he asks to be excused to go to the toilet in his sort of broken English, and then he comes back with a little bag. He's just so fantastic. Fantastic. So many scenes in this. The whole film is fantastic. Always cracks me up. Another classic here now. Probably one of the ones I watched as a kid over and over and over again and just thought it's hysterical, and I've never grown out of it. It's always just been that dumb comedy, quite literally, Dumb and Dumber. We're going to Aspen. PD the bird, nice bird, pretty bird. Oh god, on the back of the bike, you know, I gotta pee, man. Just go, just go. The car they drive, the most annoying noise in the world. The gas man. Oh my god, so many good scenes. So yeah, again, everyone must have seen this by now. If you haven't, you need to check this out. It's so funny. But Jim Carrey is best. Dumb and Dumber. So the next one now, I saw this one at the cinema, and to be honest, didn't really care for it too much. But I would have been probably quite a youngish guy back then, like probably in my teens or earlier. But rewatching this fairly recently, now I'm more in this sort of like age bracket that the film's probably aimed at. I found it so funny, so funny. Hall Pass. So again, it's fairly a big comedy, but if you haven't seen it, the general outline is from memory, these all married guys with kids and that and wives. They one of them gets a hall pass essentially, so they agree that with their wife that they can go out and try and get hold of another girl if they fancy it. But the wives are so confident that they're just so middle-aged, average men. No girls are going to be interested, and there's no chance in hell. But him and his mates decide that they're going to give it a real good shot, and they're all bored with their married lives for so many years, and they just think they go out into town and just won't go into any more, but they give it a real good try. So many good moments in this film that I appreciate much more now as a man in his sort of like 30s rather than a teenager back in the day. So yeah, Hall Pass, brilliant. Now this one, another one that's sort of stuck with me since a very young age. I think I caught this one on like ITV or something back in the day, where it's on TV, and just didn't understand what I was watching. It was the first time I'd seen anything like this, and that is Hot Shots Part 2. So the sequel, first one I saw, and I just couldn't believe I didn't know any of the cast really in here at the time. I was really young. Didn't understand it. I thought it was an action film, but then all of a sudden, like they were just shadows were fighting on the wall, and then the actors weren't part of the shadows, and there was chickens bizarrely out of somewhere, and they were pulling moles off of each other. I was like, what is going on? I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. But yeah, so bizarre. If you haven't seen it, it's obviously like a spoof type movie of the Rambos, the action movies of back in the day, all just taking the mick out of them, and it does it really well in my view. So yeah, that is Hot Shots Part 2. Classic comedy there. Slightly more modern than that one now, going into the one which I love, the TV show of this series. Again, the TV show, this makes me laugh every single time, almost every episode. But the movie did so just as well, in between as movie. So the first one, stand out, really, really funny, always cracks me up. The dance scene in that nightclub, oh, hilarious, like so awkward, so funny. Everything about it, I've lost my glasses. Cracks me up every time I watch it. Won't go on about it. I'm just gonna, I'm sure you would have seen it. If not, definitely worth watching if you like a good laugh. Now this one's kind of just gonna have to summarize. It's the only one I've got in my collection so far, but it's gonna have to summarize the whole series of films. Pretty much any of these films they've done, and they've done a few now. Maybe another 2-3 more of these. Again, the series, I've found the series when I was just that age of being kind of like quite a young guy, probably just about to be a teenager or just hitting teenage years when the series dropped, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was never something I'd never seen before. I found it hilarious. Still to this day, again, I probably should have grown out of this by now, but Jackass. So I've got the third movie there on Blu-ray, but I think there's been problems with 1 and 2 coming out on Blu-ray for some reason. I've got one on DVD somewhere, but I got a third one. I have seen the latest one, Jackass Forever, I think it's called. I've seen it a couple of times now. Just again, anything and everything they do is just hilarious to me. Like it's all that kind of like really immature, kind of like yeah, fart humor, poo humor, toilet humor in general, stunts going wrong, self-inflicting their pain on each other. Yeah, everything I love in a comedy. So another classic one now, and that is again another one I saw quite young that has stuck with me through the years and still enjoy to this day. It's a trilogy of films, but I'm just going to kind of represent that trilogy with the first one that kicked it off. Again, I think based on a TV show. There's a theme occurring here in my collection. Didn't really watch the TV show growing up. I think I've seen a couple of episodes randomly, but I haven't really delved into it too much yet. But that is the film or the movie The Naked Gun. Love this movie. Again, I think when I stumbled across it, back in the day you didn't know much about films. You just kind of come across it channel hopping, or you saw it on TV one night. You just start watching it no matter where it was. You might be 15, 20 minutes or half an hour into it, and you just start watching it, and you'd have to piece together what's going on and what type of film you're into. But this is one of those, and again, it looked like a bit of a kind of like a crime thriller type thing from what you actually see on the screen, and then a few minutes in, you quite quickly realise that it's a bit of a Mickey take of all of that type of genre. And yeah, this guy Frank Drebin makes a great movie there. Yeah, nice beaver. Quite memorable quotes from there. Where the hell was I? After he's done his like monologue of thinking over the case for so long, leaving the handbrake off of his own car and shooting at it down the hill. So many memorable comedy gold moments in these movies. Yeah, Naked Gun series. So the next one is again another one that's kind of like hit me at the right age for me personally, and that was Scary Movie. So it was I think it was the first spoof movie that I saw that was like of a modern age to me. Like that, it came out when I was into movies basically. So Naked Gun would have come out and years ago before. But yeah, this was the first one that at the time I was churning through these like horror movies as quick as I could to just catch up on decades of horror. Watching all the Screams, the Friday the 13th, and all those classic ones throughout the years. And then this thing came out and just took the mickey out of everything that was current at the time for horror, and other films as well, sci-fi and action. Again, don't want to bang on about it too much because everyone must have seen this one by now, but really enjoyed this one. Yeah, I just found it hilarious at the time. It really just calls everything out in horror movies and plays up to every kind of law or kind of rule in a horror movie is just kind of shown for all its glory about how stupid it is. Going up the stairs instead of running out the front door, choosing like something random rather than like a weapon off the side. But yeah, that is a Scary Movie. So the next one was one I think I have talked about in a previous video early in my channel, so I was going back quite a way now, but this was one I just stumbled across in my teen years and didn't know anything about it, never heard of it. I just put the DVD in one day with a couple of mates and we were hooked by it. But yeah, that is a movie called Sex Drive, and if anyone's been into any of these comedies so far that I've got into and you think this is my kind of comedy, this is my kind of humor as well, you need to check this one out because yeah, inappropriate is not the word in loads of these scenes. So funny, like the guy's dressed as a donut in a mall as a job, and yeah, what happens to him there is just like funny but kind of cringeworthy at the same time, and then the whole movie throughout is just both cringeworthy and hysterically funny at the same time. So yeah, worth watching if you ever get a chance to see Sex Drive. So the next one I found a bit later on than when I was in my teen years, and that is a movie which I guess some people might call it more sort of a horror. It's kind of a horror comedy in my eyes, but every time it just makes me laugh. These characters are just played brilliantly by the actors, and that is a movie called Sightseers. So if you haven't heard of this or seen this, the general outline of this is one of the ones that maybe not a lot of people have heard about compared to the others. This couple basically get together and they decide that they're going to go away on holiday in a caravan together for a trip, much to her mother's disapproval. And yeah, basically they just start, anytime anyone kind of gets a bit in their way or kind of upsets them in any way, they start killing them off. but you know, in a very comical way. The way it's all scripted and the lines are delivered in this movie, just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So yeah, it doesn't sound like much, but it's a very good black comedy. So if you like black comedies, that's where you want to hit with this one. Sightseers. So the next one is, I guess it's kind of a gangster film, this one, but I swear every time I watch it, I'm just always laughing. And this is one of my favourite films probably of all time, which is why it's in the 4K edition as well. And that is Snatch. My word, like, this is a film that when me and my mates get together, we will just quote this thing almost line for line for most of, you know, the duration of the film, it seems. We just always, as soon as one of us sparks off a line or a quote from this movie, Jackass, then we're just off on one for a good 20 minutes, half an hour. You know, it just keeps going backwards and forwards. We can always pick a line out of this movie and just think it's amazingly, you know, hysterical. Bullet Tooth Tony, you know, you've got all these fantastic characters in here. Such a funny movie. I could watch this anytime and always crack up laughing. So that is Snatch. Another one that I saw in a cinema and again hit me at the right time. So I was in that sort of like teenage period or just before teenage years. And the TV show, again, based on a TV show, was the biggest thing probably out there at the time. And it is South Park, the movie. And I remember sneaking in. I say sneaking in. You know, I was technically underage to get in to see this movie by about a year, I think it was at the time. And so were most of my mates that got in there with me, and we all sat down there and were just so chuffed with ourselves that we managed to get in and, you know, fool the guy at the cinema that we were pretty much bang on the age. What is it, 15? I think it's 15 in the UK. This is an import. Yeah, and we were all like 14. We were all going to be 15 in like 2 months or something, so we weren't far off, but we were just hoping we'd never get ID'd. And then when we got in there and realised that not only were we excited that we managed to get into a film we shouldn't be in, but we realised the film itself is about kids getting into a movie that they shouldn't be in. So, you know, there we go. Couldn't be more fitting for what we've just done. And we were sat there like literally like naughty schoolboys, just like laughing our socks off with all these adults around us that were still doing the same thing. But yeah, again, if you must have seen this one, it's been around so long now, but really love this one. It always cracks me up. Saddam Hussein, Satan, you know, Terence and Phillip, all the regular characters. Fantastic. So there we go. Blame Canada. So the next one, again, this one, I do like Will Ferrell. I just don't seem to find him as funny as most people do. I do find him funny, but this is probably my favourite movie of his, and I don't think that's a common choice for most people. A lot of people would choose probably Old School, I suppose, but for me, every time it's Step Brothers. Oh, the amount of like laughs out of this movie, the amount of lines that just get again quoted out of this movie, fantastic, so funny to see these two grown men like acting like school kids and like picking on each other, and yeah, so again, I'm sure everyone would have seen this one. If you haven't, go check it out. It's so funny. It's all like yeah, two fully grown men that are really acting so inappropriate and so immature for their age. It's just so good, so funny. Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Did we just become best friends? So many good quotes in this movie. If you've seen it, you know. If you haven't, you just think I'm a bit of a loony. But yeah, go watch it if you haven't seen it. Step Brothers. Another one which came along at the right time for me really was, again for my age, was a movie that, again, every single time I watch it just cracks me up. Has one of the, maybe the best comedy characters ever to be put to screen in my view. And it's gonna, you know, it's been spoofed so many times in the last God knows how many years now. But that is Superbad. Brilliant, just like teen comedy. Seth Rogen's in this as well. McLovin is the comedy. I hear they put more hops in it when he's trying to get his beer. Gosh, there's so many. Like most of them, I daren't even go into on YouTube. But yeah, just a great movie overall. Like a road, sort of a not quite road trip movie, but a movie where two guys are just trying to get to a party. They're trying to get some drink for these girls to impress them, and everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And yeah, fantastic movie. If you like, again, if you like most of all the movies that I've been talking about today, and you haven't seen this one, pick this one up. It's fantastic. Now, another one that I didn't actually enjoy the first time I watched this, and the only reason is I watched it with, I don't know how many people, 10 other people at the time that had all seen this one at the cinema previously, and I hadn't. So every time that something about to be funny was going on, um, they were all laughing. I didn't even know what was going on because I couldn't hear it. But I did watch it again on my own, and bizarrely, I found this one's pretty grown on me more and more every time I watch it. And I rewatched it recently actually. Love it now. Fantastic movie. And that's Team America. So, Team America World Police. Brilliant film. Again, this was so famous. Everyone must have seen this and know about this. But yeah, what can you say? So many good moments in this one. Just bizarre moments you wouldn't think make you laugh. Just a puppet saying shush and putting their finger in another puppet's eye instead of their mouth. Comedy gold. I don't know why. Just comedy gold. But yeah, loads of things in this that make me laugh every time. So that is Team America, World Police. So the last movie of my 20 movies that always make me laugh out loud, slightly older one now, I guess into, I think it was the 90s, but that is There's Something About Mary. Yeah, so a classic one again, would have been spoofed so many times now. I think the scene that gets me the most in this every single time is I think it's in the opening or it's pretty early on in the film, where he's going to the bathroom and he's basically looking out the window, just minding his own business, spots this girl, she catches a glimpse of him. He quickly tries to zip himself up and gets caught. Yeah. That scene has me in stitches every time. We got a bleeder. So yeah, that's my last choice, my last sort of comedy film that makes me laugh every single time. So that's it. That's 20 movies. If you're still watching, thanks very much. You haven't given up on the video so far. What movies make you laugh every time out loud? I'd love to hear down below in the comments, or if you're a fellow YouTuber and you want to do a video the same, feel free, let me know, and I'll come and watch it because I'd be really interested to find out. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.